Andrew Tate dance, some anime music. Just pretend it's there.
Just pretend.
This is no frills. Post Zero. Hey guys, welcome to Post Zero. Gamers rule the earth. We've got our panel here, a wonderful panel. Some more might join. Actually, I don't know what's the limit on the free version. Is it 6?
6.
Okay, so we might have. There's a few more slots to fill in, but let's introduce everybody. Start with Kyle. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I run the In Liberty and Health podcast, and before we went live on air, I was playing Majora's Mask. It's one of the hobbies I enjoy the most, but I talk about the least, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm actually pretty big nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. So
everyone's going to show their gaming credentials.
There's an Xbox within like striking distance of me, right at my legs, and then obviously my brother builds PCs and stuff like that. So I'm actually pretty excited to talk about this today because, like I said, me and my brother like grew up playing Nintendo and Xbox and all this stuff, and we still to this day talk about doing brother co-op games. So I mean, this is my shit.
No, Red Hawk. Go ahead.
Yo, all right. So I am Mr. Red Hawk, president of the OGC. That's where most of my work is found these days, at the Old Glory Club, and there's an Xbox controller within striking distance from me as well. But I got a PS4 in the other room. I got a Switch. Got the Xbox Series X. I got my PC. Yeah. So I've been a major gamer my entire life, and I'm never stopping.
Nope.
Just Jack.
So hi. What do I do? I write on Substack. I am part of the Rule Zero panel and of the Post Zero panel, and I do Red Evening with Rob Says. I just posted a new Substack this morning, and there is a Switch right in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up with the NES, then went to the Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube. I skipped the Wii for some reason.
Really?
I don't know why.
I bet your walls probably appreciate that.
Yeah. I had the Wii U. I had the 3DS, which I think is still one of their best consoles ever made, the 3DS. And now I have the Switch, and I'm playing Brothership, the Mario and Luigi RPG, and so far I am not particularly fond of it. That's me.
IGN might have gotten something right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I gave it a 5.
Yeah, a lot of people disagree with it, and I have the feeling that the game does get better because everybody who says IGN is wrong played the whole game. So maybe IGN only played the first 3 hours, which in my humble opinion are pretty slow. It's like, oh God, come on. Like there's so much unnecessary dialogue and fluff, and there's not really much happening.
One of my favorite channels for gaming reviews is Before You Buy. I feel like their stuff is normally pretty spot on. Plus, they're normally like, 10 to 15 minute videos, and they kind of give you the ups and downs of all the games. Like I bought Alien Fireteam recently and Back for Blood because Alien Fireteam was like, I think it was like $25 on sale to get like all the DLC and everything. So I'm like, okay, what the hell? Why not? I've been watching all the Alien movies and I've become like a huge fan of the series. So I'm like, okay, well, this might be fun. I played it and it wasn't like the worst thing, but it also wasn't the best thing ever. And they kind of laid out how I felt. They're like, oh yeah, well, the graphics look cool, but like if you don't have anybody to play with, you might get bored pretty quick. And I ran one mission by myself. I'm like, yeah, playing with just like the bots. But my bar for like good is very, very low for a lot of games. But I can generally kind of keep myself entertained with most games. But yeah, with that Alien Fireteam, it's like, yeah, if I had some other people who were like screaming at the TV, I felt like it'd be a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely some games you really have to have people to get the fullest out of it. Like Space Marine, the campaign was good. Like Space Marine 2, I enjoyed the campaign. But playing multiplayer gives you an extra layer of value to that game, and especially if you have like people that play it.
That one and Helldivers make me want to buy a PlayStation 5.
Yeah, Helldivers was a ton of fun.
And then put a giant TV there on that wall. Just have a giant TV on there. It's like, But then the question becomes like, how long are people going to play it? How much time do I have to play it? I mean, you're all in the States, so I probably have to play at night. Hey, Mish.
Hey, Mish.
God, I love his fucking logo.
Oh, he always has a good one.
Yeah.
Always.
Hello.
Hello, Habibi. Mishala.
How's everyone doing?
Doing
Good.
well, man. How are
Doing
you?
good.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, so we're talking about games, huh?
Yeah,
Mhm.
we were just
Absolutely.
introducing ourselves where we started with gaming.
Ooh, nice, dude.
So it's your turn, Sandra. Go ahead.
I would say the first time I was introduced to gaming was like a, I don't know if you guys have that gaming concept called, it used to be called MSX.
I'm not familiar with that.
No.
Yeah, so it's like it's from the 80s or something. It had cartridges. Yeah, so I remember playing the first what they call the Metal Gear
Oh, really?
back in 1991, and then Rambo 1 and 2.
Hmm.
Yeah, then after that
The
I
original
got
Metal Gear is great.
yeah, it was like that machine was amazing, honestly, for its time. Like, it had a keyboard on it and everything, but didn't have a mouse.
Yeah, playing through the Zelda games, because I played through Ocarina of Time a few months ago, and now I'm doing Majora's Mask. To me, it's genuinely impressive how like ahead of the times these games were. Like, they weren't obviously revolutionary in the respect of like graphics and storyline and all this stuff, but just like the mechanics of gameplay and how much went into the game. It doesn't feel like there's that much depth to a lot of games anymore, because like what there seems to be a lot of lately is like what people call like walking simulators. Like Outlast was probably like the biggest one, and then now there's a whole bunch of other ones, which like those are cool, but like I don't know. To me, I can enjoy that very very briefly, but I don't want this huge market of games where essentially all you do is just walk around and watch things happen. To me, that's kind of lame, and that's why I like games, with a little bit more interaction. So, like Borderlands 2 is probably one of the games I've played the most out of any game. I think I had almost like 300 hours into it. But that game, to you guys' points earlier, was that like you could really enjoy that game by yourself, and you could really enjoy that game with other people, because you just run around shooting shit on Borderlands, the blast, and then all the quests and all the different areas, the aesthetic of the game, everything about the Borderlands series has always been very enjoyable for me. But you didn't need online, you didn't need friends to play that game.
Which is a shame, and I keep saying it. There will come a day where I have all of you in the same room, and we're going to play Mario Kart or Mario Party or whatever, and we're going to like bash each other's heads in with the controller. Things like that, because I do like you mentioned, most games these days are all online or they're single player focused, but the true essence of gaming for me will always lie in the group sense of it, where you can play with multiple people.
Yeah.
For me, at least, but although like Zelda, you will never be able to play Zelda with two players. But like Kyle mentioned, like these days it's mostly open world. But also ask yourself, like, how much more can they invent when it comes to gaming? Yeah, virtual reality is becoming a thing, but like Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, those were spearheads for a new era.
Right.
It's like that was the first age of actual 3D gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. VR just seems like it. They've been trying to make it a thing for a long time now. I mean, it was like a decade since like Oculus like first came out.
Yeah.
And it's just not catching on.
That's been a decade.
Yeah.
I think
close.
so.
Yeah, it's been close.
It's really hard to like make a VR thing kind of work where you stand in place. Like I remember I bought my wife an Oculus a couple years ago, and she mentioned that like when she was trying to play the one Star Wars game, she's like, yeah, I just got sick standing there.
Yeah. The motion sickness does seem the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, like my brother had one of the older ones where you had to hang up cameras all around your room. Just like I don't know how they're going to be able to perfect it so that way you could play it in your house. Because in order to like have some kind of congruency where like your vision is moving, but you're not moving. Like I said, I don't know how you kind of reconcile these things.
Do you guys remember the Xbox Connect? What a disaster that
Oh
was.
my god, I hated
What-
that.
Wasn't that like a try like, oh shit, the Wii's really popular. We got to get in on this type of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was like several years too late, and they forced you to get it with the launch of the Xbox One, and it was so fucking stupid.
And it was bad. It was just
Yeah.
bad.
Microsoft is a bad company. It sucks that they run pretty much everything because they really, really suck. They're
I was
terrible.
talking to Brian and Jim.
Xbox is a bad company.
Microsoft is.
Oh.
Yeah, who owns it? Yeah.
Oh, dude, but I think what PlayStation is doing now,
They're
That's
bad.
Sony.
PlayStation is doing much horrible, like much worse
Really?
than that. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
I think
bad.
they bought from software, if I'm not mistaken, or they're planning to buy
They're
it.
trying
so,
to, yeah. They're
Yeah,
talking
so-
about it right now.
So if they buy that, that means all the Elden Ring and Souls games are going to be exclusive for PlayStation, which is shit move to do.
Yeah, I don't know
Xbox is
what
not
they'll
doing
do.
the same thing. Xbox is, there's no exclusivity, I think, outside of Gears of War
Halo, I think.
and Halo 2, yeah.
But though, I mean, right now, well, the thing with Microsoft is that they're also pushing their PC stuff hard, so it's never going to be like a console exclusive. It's going to be like PC and Xbox, but probably not PlayStation.
They're ending support for Windows 10 next
Oh,
year,
no.
and that's really gonna fucking suck because everyone's gonna have to finally upgrade to Windows 11, and I'm just
I
gonna
haven't had too much issues with 11, but yeah, it does. I did like 10.
So what's the kind of games like what PUBG, what the hell is that other one? Apex.
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite, like these kind of games where you have like the big map that you just get dropped in. I'm like 50-50. Apex is enjoyable, but like I don't know how much I enjoy just constantly playing the same map, no matter how big it is. Like one of the cool things about Halo 2, because that was kind of like where I got my first introduction to like online gaming, all the different maps were cool. And like despite the fact that like you had different sizes and all this stuff, you eventually kind of learn these maps and learn the advantages, the disadvantages. And like that was kind of cool because it was random every single time. I don't know how I feel about like the just open map kind of deal in a multiplayer game without any kind of campaign. Like I've just never been a fan of like the strictly online games.
I played Fortnite maybe for like a year when it first came out. I played a shitload of the Call of Duty Warzone when it first came out. And the COD one was kind of fun the first year. But if I had a time machine, you could go back in time now, I would just forget killing Hitler. I would just kill I would kill the original devs for Fortnite. I think that game has done immeasurable amount of damage to the gaming industry, and I don't think we're ever going to recover.
Do you think it's because of like the setup I'm talking about, or is there something else?
It's just like the Fort, yeah, what Jack's getting at. It's the Fortniteification of the gaming community is just so terrible.
Kind of like microtransactions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of it's, at least from my perspective, is like where they don't make content anymore. They just take IPs, just borrow IPs over it. Like, oh, here's Naruto, here's One Piece, here's Lethal Company. I mean, you saw that with like
here's Kratos.
Magic the Gathering now is like half their sets are going to be different IPs other than their own. Like
Really?
Like everybody's like here's the way to cash in and not do creative work. We'll just do a little crossover type of thing.
But Fortnite is just a shooter, right?
Yeah, I mean Fortnite is kind of, I don't know if it's built around it, but at least that's kind of its thing now. At least it became its thing, is like here's Thanos and here's Spider-Man.
Metallica. They literally had Metallica.
They have Metallica.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they sold out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is worse than the Black Album.
Yeah, I remember when what the hell was it? I want to say probably around like 2012-ish. It might have been a little bit later when the memes started coming out of like basically games would now release literally essential parts of the campaign in DLC, where they would sell you the game and then you have to buy the DLC. Whereas like back in the early 2000s with like Halo 2 and stuff, you could get the whole game, but then like the DLC was like, oh, we're going to give you like an extra map or something like that, where
Yeah.
you don't need this to enjoy the game, but it's cool if you get it. And people like wanted to get that. Nowadays, it's almost like, once again, microtransactions where it's like, oh, you can get all these skins, or even like, what the hell was it? The Star Wars game, The Old Republic, where basically people had explained that the game you could get to be just as good as somebody else that would like pay for it, but like it was night and day. Like if you paid for it, it just made the game so much easier and so much more enjoyable. Where like, I don't know, that's kind of gay. Like I don't want to just grind and grind for the grind's sake. Kind of like these. I forget. I think the game was called The Isle or something like that. But like, I hate these sandbox games that are just grindy for the purpose of being grindy. Like where I think I remember you were put on this island, and then if you make something, you have to pick it up, or else if you don't pick it up, it'll stay in that spot and you'll leave it there. I'm like, this is just like retarded. Like just grind for the sake of the grind isn't fun. But if it's like the grind for the sake of getting somewhere, like we were talking about off air with Majora's Mask, where like you grind to get masks and then that makes the game easier and more enjoyable, that's cool. But if it's just grind to just punish your dick into the dirt, no, that's not fun.
So how long until Fresh and Fit will get a Fortnite skin?
God, let's hope not.
Hey, you gotta
my
get
God.
them dollars. You gotta get them dollars, boy.
Bubble
Cue
White
the
Claw
intro.
Cannon.
Cue the intro right there. No, but you're right. Like, what is it? That grinding becomes part of the game without a necessary purpose. Final
Right.
Fantasy has it every now and then, although fortunately their final bosses are hard as shit, so you kind of want to grind as much as possible.
Right.
Pokemon X and Y, though, that was the one where it started, where the grinding just was unnecessary because it was so easy at a certain point. But because of all the random encounters, you just blew through the game, which was kind of sad. It's kind of a shame, in all honesty.
Yeah, I'm finding it harder and harder to find new games that I enjoy.
Right.
these days. I just like the hit to miss ratio. I mean, like in the early 2000s, there were so many amazing games coming out like every single year.
Yeah.
And now it's like I'm lucky if I find one new game a year that I really like. And I just have to go back to the classics, which is fine. I got more than enough games to play and replay over to last a lifetime. But I would like some cool new stuff coming out. But Dave, I think you've talked about this on Scarred Thumb a couple times. But if I hear like a new game getting introduced to me, and the selling point is, oh, the graphics are amazing, like fuck you. I literally just don't even care about graphics. Like just fuck off at this point.
I mean, that's why Nintendo still rules the gaming market.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Because
be honest.
they're focused on quality of the game. They've never been focused strictly on graphics.
Echoes of Wisdom looked like Echoes of Wisdom wasn't the best looking game ever, and the style was pretty cartoonish, but it was an amazing game.
Yeah, there was a game called Ashen that came out a few years ago, and it was like a Dark Souls-esque kind of game. And the graphics were pretty like meh, but like the story of the game was absolutely fantastic. The progression in the game, and it was an indie game too, but like everything about that game was fantastic. And like we're really missing that. I used to tell people all the time that like the Mass Effect series ruined gaming for me because there hasn't been anything with like a significantly good story throughout like multiple games in a long time. So, kind of like Red Hawk said, is that we're going back to like, they're doing all these remakes now where they just remade Dead Space, which like I love Dead Space. They remade Dead Rising, love Dead Rising, but like where's the new stuff that's like good and like
the beauty is, you just mentioned it, the indie games. There are so many good indie games out there these days. Like Hollow Knight was a great one, Shovel Knight. Baby, I'm naming too much Nintendo, and Dave, help me out here. Story of Isaac, Limbo. You had the whole scary game rage of the 2010s, I believe, like Slender Man, Five Nights at Freddy's, Insomnia.
I still play Lethal Company with my family. That's a fun game to play with friends. You got Among Us, Terraria. I've been playing a game called Core Keeper that's really really fun to play with multiple people.
What's that other game called? Damn it. You play like a rabbit, a white rabbit. Ori and
And the
God.
something forest.
Yeah, something forest, like these Metroidvania games, all made
Ah.
by indie studios. Those were amazing.
I think I bought that and never played it.
Really?
I
It's
forgot it on like a
recommend.
Steam sale, and then it's like,
Oh.
yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest. Yeah, I do have it in my thing.
Yeah, it's a recommend. It's a recommend. It's not as good as Hollow Knight. Like Hollow Knight was amazing. The skill, the learning curve was high, but when you finally did get it, though, it was good.
Yeah, and
It
there's
was
a lot of like challenging optional bosses that were like if
Mhm.
you really wanted to dive in, you could.
I
punish
finished it
yourself.
100%. It was
Really?
insane.
That's-
Yeah,
that's impressive.
I did the secret boss and I killed it. That felt good. So yeah, did it. Remember that with games where you had secret bosses and they were just completely impossible?
Yeah.
Mhm.
As a kid, you found one and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? No, you die. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I think that was one of my favorite things about Borderlands is that Borderlands had a lot of those, like, you didn't have to do these bosses, but they were there. And there were also like sequences where you could unlock certain enemies that would have awesome loot. Like that kind of stuff is fun. And I think one of my biggest disappointments about the whole Borderlands series was like Borderlands 3, which was still good, but like Borderlands 2, I couldn't put that game down. And then it's like they had 3 come out, and I don't want to say it was a flop, but it was like it was more like Borderlands 2 without really any significant improvements and a worse story.
hmm Yeah, I think it peaked it too. I haven't actually. I don't think I actually played 3, but I enjoyed playing 2 with my brother, and it was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
3 is worth a play, but like if you're expecting it to be leaps and bounds better than 2, you're going to be very disappointed.
And I
Which
feel like
I hate to say that.
I felt like the humor kind of grated on me after like 2. I kind of enjoyed it, all right. And then the 3, it's like, then it's almost become a meme. The writing in Borderlands.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't
Mhm.
played. They had that Tiny Tina's dragon thingy. I didn't even buy that. I kind of want to play it because I'm such a big fan of the series. But yeah, 3 was the pre-sequel I thought was actually pretty good. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually really enjoyed it. But yeah, 3 yeah.
Kind of brings up an interesting discussion about there are certain gaming franchises that you really get invested in and you play a shit ton of the games, and because we're living in modernity, everything just sucks now, so it's sad to watch your favorite franchises just go up in flames. Like I played pretty much every single Assassin's Creed game, and they haven't had a good one, like a really, really good Assassin's Creed game. They haven't had one in at least like 7 years.
What? You ain't gonna play Shadows?
Yeah, fuck that.
We was samurai.
Yeah, I didn't buy I did not buy Mirage, which was the first Assassin's Creed game I never bought because I was just done.
That hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It
because
kind of just
Yeah.
it's like I played Valhalla and it was a buggy fucking mess and it was way too long. The story like was just completely unrememberable, and I really hate like they just try and nickel and dime you every step of the way. There's like ads all over the place to buy more shit, and like I hate this. I hate like how everything has to be an RPG now, where it's just, oh well, there's 10,000 versions of the same loot in the game, and it only increases your stats by like 1 fucking point. It's like Assassin's Creed was never supposed to be an RPG, man. This is just gay.
Dude,
So,
the Assassin's Creed died with Ezio. I think after Ezio, that was a downfall.
yeah.
I think maybe the one where
I thought 3 Black Flag were good.
Yeah, they were good. I remember those. They were good. Yeah.
I thought Origins was like the only good one in the modern era, but the one in Egypt. But pretty much everything else after that has just been downhill. I mean,
they were mostly stealth games, right?
I mean, kind of, but like, it's not like Splinter Cell or Thief like levels of stealth.
Did you guys play the Arkham games?
Oh yeah, those are great.
Oh yeah.
I played the first 2, I think. That the most recent one, and I may be Arkham, the one that takes place in the city. That might have been it. I just couldn't really get into it. Some games that bear mentioning when it comes to like stealth would be not Thief. Oh my god, I can't believe I remember. Not a set. Oh, I can't remember what the fuck they're called. There's two of them.
Prince of
What is it?
Prince of Persia.
Oh, I did like those games, or I like the original one, or at least the one for GameCube. But Metro, and Wolfenstein, which like both those games aren't like explicitly stealth games, but I found their stealth in both those games to be very satisfying, in that it made the game a lot more challenging, but not to the point that you hated your life, but like you enjoyed playing the game in a stealth manner. But you didn't have to do stealth; you go guns a blazing. But that'd be a
They
whole
literally
different
just
thing.
removed all the stealth from the latest Star Wars Outlaws patch because it was so busted in the game. I don't know if you saw this, Dave. I mean, of course,
I
I'm not
did
buying
see
that
the
fucking
headline,
game,
yeah.
but yeah. So your stealth mechanic is literally broken in your game. We're just gonna remove all the stealth from the game. It's like, holy
From
fuck.
the developers that brought you Splinter Cell. They don't know how to make a stealth mission anymore. They're just like, everyone's just left that company, and now it's just a husk.
Yeah,
It kind of feels good though. Like with this, I do side with
Dishonored.
Cappy.
Dishonored. That's it. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Dishonored
No,
was
that's
the two games that had really good stealth, really good stories too. Loved both those games. Like they were solid back to back, 1 and 2. Loved both of those.
Nice. No, but what was I about to say? Oh yeah, I side with Cappy on this one, where these companies think they think they can kick out the old guard, bring in the new, fresh, diverse, bright thinking bunch, and then they all fail. And I can't help but laugh. Or it's like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes the old guard just knew what they were doing. They were onto something, and either follow in their footsteps or don't even try.
Yeah, and this kind of goes to something I'm sure Dave's very familiar with too, is that like kind of like the woke pandering for gaming. It's like you're trying to pander to people who are never going to buy your product anyways.
No,
Why don't
exactly.
why don't you just focus on the people who actually play your games and not like pander to them, but just write a game that you think that they would enjoy. One thing that really upset me with like the Mass Effect and Dragon Age series, even though I never got through all of Dragon Age, like the whole woke pandering was retarded. Like Mass Effect Andromeda, the gameplay was, I loved it, but like the storyline where the characters are all bisexual and all that, like that's fucking retarded. Keep it just, appeal to the gameplay, and 1 through 3 was fine. Where, I'm sure there was probably like some lesbian stuff or something like that, but like it wasn't a bulk of like the character's story. Like I thought that was so stupid that they put that in Andromeda. And then my understanding is that like the newest Dragon Age game was the same deal, where everything is like just woke stuff. It's
The
like,
new
get the fuck
Dragon Age,
outta here.
the new Dragon Age had a non-binary character, and it came out like swinging with that dialogue. You meet that NPC, and it just straight goes into, by the way, I'm non-binary. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like
Dude,
Koreans.
Dragon Age was a horrible mess.
But Dave, like I saw Musk in the thumbnail. You kind of want to go somewhere with this, don't you?
That was, yeah. The reason I put that in there was because you being in part of the red pill space, you know that there's always some guys like, video games are a waste of time. Video games, if you want to be successful, you got to give up your video games. Or even like the trad cons, like Matt Walsh is shitting on video games. Like Elon Musk is richer than any of those people, like probably combined. And he's hardcore grinding Diablo 4. Not to mention he has 13 kids too. So by TradCon standards, he's the biggest man to ever live. I guess, because I mean, the more kids you have, the more of a man you are. It's just
Yeah, you get more
math.
man points per kid.
Yeah. That's why you got to show him off on social media, like Joel Berry here. Like, oh, well, I got a kid. Look at my new kid.
Oh god, look at my
God, I
kid.
fucking hate that guy.
I know. That terrible white.
No, but the Musk phenomenon is interesting. Like, I know a couple of high rollers who love their video games. Sibley as well. Loves playing Diablo, and Musk then plays Diablo. I never played Diablo, not 1, 2, or 3. But what a lot of these people forget, like their necessity is such a virtue, where it's like, yeah, look, just because you can't enjoy yourself doesn't mean the rest of the world can't. I have this autistic morning ritual where I turn on my coffee, I grab my laptop, and I start writing for the Substack, blah, blah, blah. then I work out, and depending on if I have to work or not, I go to work or I have the rest of the day off because I did what I needed to do. What do you expect me to do all day? Grind? Like for what? Yeah, every now and then.
Start a 6-figure company, bro.
Dude, that takes
Dropship, bro.
Oh yeah, drop shipping, bro. Oh man, do you guys have that now too? Like, oh, the YouTube ads are getting so much worse. It's all
I have premium.
oh, thank whatever god you worship for that, Dave. But it's all like trading and drop shipping and e-commerce. It's like, fuck, go away. Just go away. You know? But even with like this online stuff, how much grinding do you want to do? Like, okay, like you've got guys like Glenn Lawrence who stream for 8 hours a day. I mean, whoa, sir, I commend you, but I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. I find, how much do I stream? I've got Truthcast and on Red Evening, and then every now and then I got Rule Zero. But that doesn't take like 72, blah, 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 69 hours a week. Not at all. And what do these Stratcons expect you to do? Or like these adult people expect you to do? Like, you're going to have some leisure time and you're going to have to be able to enjoy yourself, you know? Oh, just read a book. Like, what?
Read philosophy.
Oh, God. I have already
volunteer.
read philosophy in my 20s, sir. I have a minor in philosophy. It's like, what more do you want me to do? Let me play Mario.
Look at Jack. Smart.
I know, right? Smart, but there's more than meets the eye with me, Mish.
Yeah.
Smart boy. A few people only do.
God, no wonder you've no wonder you're not living in a mansion with your philosophy degree.
I know, right? Hey, it's a minor, sir. It's a minor.
Something clear, useless disease degrees.
Yeah. Well, they are diseases too. Yeah.
That's true.
I do not find that very, very friendly to speak about Europeans as diseases, sir. We have feelings.
Dude, if Clary knows how much I'm paying for the degrees I'm trying to get in 2025 and 2026, he would have a heart attack.
Oh yeah, even in Saudi, it's that bad.
No, it's both of them are international degrees, so it's not from Saudi.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I'm sure Hawk might be able to touch on this a little bit, but one of the things that drives me nuts, and this is kind of in our space, very, very loosely, is when people start saying, "Oh, you can't have heavy metal or video games in your life at all." I'm like, so like you guys are saying, what the hell are you supposed to do then? Just sit there and read a book and, you know, think about your wife and kids all day and post theft trophies for cloud or whatever. Like, you're allowed to enjoy things. It's okay.
Do stuff. Yeah. Do stuff for yourself that you personally enjoy.
It's like they just have it's just another form of longhousing in the sense of you just are not allowed to have any frame for your life. And like these guys seem to think that the only way that like things are done in the future is by having groups of men who are solely focused on, you know, just doing XYZ thing at any time. And they're kind of right to some degree, which is why I like the worst lies are the ones that are slightly masked in truth. You know, so it's like, do you think like the Spartan men or like the Bolsheviks or the American founding fathers, do you think like none of them had hobbies on the side? You know, like it's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, that they unwinded doing, you know, certain things at the end of the day. Yeah. They
usually butt fucked each other, but that's something different.
It's fake news. It's fake news.
Fake news.
You're
fake news. The Spartans did not butt fuck.
Another topic that's tangentially related to Elon, and that was the idea. Like, I think it's like super cool that the richest man in the world likes to hardcore grind video games, but the media itself like hated it simply because he was like, you know, he's leaning towards the right now. He's supporting Trump, so everyone in the journalistic media had to hate him, and it's sort of like the topic I wanted to get to is now like every space, especially like even male leading spaces, have become very left leaning, and I actually kind of wanted to ask a Red Hawk specifically, since you are making a group, or you have made a social group, like how did you fight, not necessarily like it turning like left leaning, but the group kind of, because I know it's probably more situated towards the right, but I think you said specifically it's not meant to be like a political action type of group. It's basically meant to be more of a like social fraternal group.
Yeah, the old Glory Club, which I run, has a chapter initiative, which is based off of the old American fraternities of old, which in American history, like the fraternal orders go back right to our founding, through things like the Elks Lodge, Masons, the Scouts and such. America has a long history of fraternal groups, and so we at the OGC just decided to resurrect that. And we've got around 15 chapters right now across the entire country. So we're growing fast, but it's kind of just based off of Conquest's law, right? It's like any group that's not explicitly right wing will inevitably become left wing. So while we're not like a political activist group, like something like Patriot Front or something like that, that's going around doing marches or protests or shit like that, it's just specifically a fraternal group with a set of bylaws, with a set of expectations and standards to hold the men to. And if you're about it, you're going to find it, and you'll be vetted, invited to several of the meetings and the events, and there you go. It's a nice change to find a nice group of dudes where you don't have to hide your power level around all the time, which is super refreshing, particularly in this day and age. So I recommend people get involved if that's something they're interested in.
And was the political action thing like specifically to try and like prevent sort of like some like Proud Boys-esque like infiltration by agents where they're like, hey, go to this why don't you go to the Capitol and protest?
Yeah, I mean there's definitely a lot of that. But I think the other thing too is that I agree very much with Bronze Age Pervert on this, is that the only organizations that have ever done anything in the history of the world are men or boons, which are small groups of men with a shared vision and the basically like the trust of your life that you can put in another guy. That's what actually matters. This idea of like huge populist movements rising up throughout history is just simply not true. The main shakers and movers of history have been great men of history and in small groups. I mean, the Bolsheviks didn't take over the Soviet Union because they had the most men. They were actually the smallest faction of all the fighters in the Soviet Union vying for power. They were smaller than the Mensheviks. They were smaller than the Tsarists, but they were the most organized and they were the most dedicated, and they came out on top. And you can see this repeated throughout all of history.
Nice. I loved it that my coworkers had the same opinions I did without me mentioning it first. It's like, at a certain point, somebody says something and you look at each other. It's like, you're one of ours.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're cool. Nice.
Oh, yeah, it's so refreshing. It's so refreshing.
It does seem like the bigger all these groups got, like these conventions or any of these like gaming organizations got, the worse they become. Yeah. I even saw like Frank Frazetta did like San Diego Comic-Con like in the 70s. Like Frank Frazetta did a thing for them, artwork for them, where it's like this fairy with like her tits out and that kind of stuff. Like, man, this looks so cool, and like it will never ever be put on anything anywhere near that convention again. Because like,
you could have cosplayers walk around with their tits hanging out, but
yeah. You can have that. But like it's all just a giant advertisements everywhere you look for like a new thing, a new board game or a new card game or something like that. That's all it is.
By the way, that should be totally 100% banned on Twitch. I mean, you've just proven that you're not responsible enough for this shit. I'm not like a Twitch fan. I'm not like a huge user of it, and I very, very, very rarely go on there. But every single time in the last several years where I just like click on it and you just see the trending, it's just all like titty streamers and stuff. It's like, this is fucking ridiculous. This should have been banned outright immediately. And now it's like the entire site.
About the like Twitch's like adpocalypse they've got going on right now?
No. Yeah, I've heard about it. I've been following Asmund again. Even
I
though,
mean,
like, I don't think he's really come back on his opinion about some cultures are better than others, but
mhm.
he's still overall based enough to enjoy. But yeah, I saw that Twitch is now a lot of advertisers are retracting their advertising.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it seems to be they're trying to say it's based more on like anti-Semitism, but I think a lot of
Oh
it's also
yeah.
the overall nature of the site where you do have like it's not very advertiser friendly if you go to the front page and you see like softcore pornography, which is what essentially a lot of the hot tub stuff is.
Not only that, but like Asmund showed a couple of clips of people who weren't banned while he was banned. And these people are just like openly calling for people's death. Like literal death threats during their stream, and they're not being banned. I was like, what the hell is this, Twitch? And because they banned Asmund, a lot of people started asking questions like, hey, what about this guy? What about that guy? What about this girl? What about
Yeah.
this? And people like kept piling up the requests. And since that happened, they're retracting the advertising, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, the issue is like the moderating team is like so left leaning that if you're on their side, you can get away with so much more and like almost too much.
Mhm.
Where like a lot of the examples that the people have been like bringing up have been like Hassan, which is super left leaning, but super anti-Israel, and like just the stuff that he says, or like the people he's had, like he's apparently had on like a terrorist at some point on his stream. Terrorist in quotation marks, so labeled as one. Maybe he is a full terrorist. I don't know, but the fact that they just allowed that to happen because they agree with it is biting them in the ass.
No.
Oh, here's the governor.
Hey,
Oh.
Gov.
Hey,
Hey,
welcome.
Speaking of titty streamers,
about time. What's up, everybody?
I think
Hey,
good to see you, Gav. I think despite us complaining about the state of the modern gaming industry, about how pretty much all of it is terrible in every way compared to when we were growing up as kids, it is kind of nice when you find those very small diamonds in the rough that are still actually good that are coming out recently. Like those two new God of War games I thought were amazing.
Those weren't bad, honestly. I had fun playing them. I haven't had fun playing any video game in a long time, dude. Like I have a shit ton of games in my Steam library and they are untouched or like have 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's so boring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when you find some like really good ones like that, I mean, I just find myself going back to it. I've been getting an itch to go back and play like Skyrim recently because I haven't played through it in like 4 years or something.
yeah, I have Skyrim on the computer and I played it a little bit. I never beat that game, but I think it's like you said. I think it's about time that I kind of run through it. I may do that after I'm done with Majora's Mask.
Yeah, Skyrim's a really fun one. We are never getting Elder Scrolls 6, and even if we do, it's going to be terrible.
Probably. How old is Skyrim now? Jesus.
2011, man. It's
that old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
And people are still playing it.
Yeah.
That's
the saddest
dude,
thing.
my brother's been playing it for the past 13 years now, like nonstop. It's either that game or Fallout. He only plays those two games.
I used to feel like 10 years ago, you'd be like, oh man, I can't wait for this to get like a remaster. Oh, it'd be cool if they were re-release this on this system. And now it's like, oh God, I don't want them to do that. Well, how are they going to ruin it this time?
Oh yeah.
It's sad.
1,000-Year Door came out okay.
Yeah. Well, and Nintendo's pretty good at re-releasing their stuff kind of faithfully, but
the English translation had some issues.
Yeah.
I gotta say,
waiting for Square Enix to finally decide to remake Chrono Trigger.
Oh, that's gonna be. It's like they're gonna censor Aya, the cave girl chick, the same way Dragon Quest got censored with like, I'll put like a T-shirt on her or some shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna drive me nuts.
If it's gonna be on PC, there are gonna be some mods to just remove that shit. Anyways. They don't make good games anymore.
The one thing that was kind of lame about the Dead Rising Deluxe remaster, while like they made the game so much more playable, the AI better, and like all like the kind of quality of life stuff that was absent in like the original, I think it was like 2005 release of Dead Rising. They took out the erotica photo. So if anybody's not familiar with Dead Rising, you play as a photographer in the game, and you could take photographs for prestige points and for also like different things to get survivors in the game. And part of it was that if there was a girl that was like dressed in a dress or something that had cleavage, or you could see like their thong string or something like that, if you took a picture, they had different categories for pictures, and one of them was erotica. So if you took a picture up of a girl's skirt or something like that, not that you would like be able to crawl around and do it, but it was just like if you got it on like an offhand thing on the screen, it would give you erotica points. But they took that out of the deluxe remaster, which I thought was pretty lame.
We're just all run by F slurs, troons, women.
They
Now
completely race swapped one of the bosses, didn't they? I thought it used to be like there was an Asian guy that they turned white.
So the butcher at the towards the end of the game was, I think his name was Larry, and he was like an Asian missing his two front teeth. And then in the deluxe remaster, they retextured everything, and they also, I think they redid all the voicing. Maybe not all, but most of it. And yeah, the butcher at the end of the game was no longer this Asian dude, which I mean, to me, that really wasn't like too big of a deal. Although it would have been cool if they would have kept the original Larry, because like the one of the deluxe remaster had like a hat and glasses and kind of looked like a fat American. But then in the original Dead Rising, it was an Asian guy who was pretty rough around the edges, wore like a shirt that was stretched out and had blood on it. And like I said, he was missing his two front teeth. So it's just like, why would you remake that? And it's kind of like what you just mentioned there kind of reminded me of the How to Train Your Dragon. They're doing a live remake, and it's like, why would you make the girl a black woman when like it was clear that she was like a doofy blonde woman in the movie, where I'm sure Jack would like this. You could have put Sydney Sweeney as that girl and it would have been perfect.
I'm listening.
Yeah, exactly. She would have been perfect. But instead they put a black girl, where like this is like clearly like a European kind of centric movie, with the Vikings and everything. When was the last time you seen a fucking black Viking?
Never. They just want to destroy my culture, my heritage, man. My European Aryan heritage must be destroyed by these moids, or whatever you call them. Hawk, what's the word?
groid is the term, but
that's what they are. It's like, no, fuck off. And the beauty about it is, and I made a joke. I made a joke a while back on Twitter saying if Trump wins, he's gonna bring back the Playboy and it will have big-breasted blonde center models again. And not a week after or 2 weeks after Trump wins, or however long it's been, the fight happens between Tyson and Jake Paul, and who is the most popular person of that fight? Sydney Thomas.
Yeah, big titty
blonde. Yeah. It's like, it's happening. It's happening. Nature is healing. They're sprouting from the ground again. It's like, it's almost as if Harvey Weinstein is working back at Miramax and all the actresses are hot again.
The guy did nothing wrong.
No, you took it farther than I did.
Yeah, it's just we can't have beautiful things anymore. We can't have fun things anymore.
I think we can. And what I mean by that is, I truly think the narrative is changing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Sydney Sweeney is getting more roles. There's a film coming out with her and Ana de Armas.
I can't wait.
I need to see that for plot reasons, of course. Of course. Plot reasons. But Sydney Sweeney is being pushed to the forefront. That girl from the fight is being pushed to the front. It's like, I truly think there's going to be a narrative switch. He won the popular vote. Like, people are sick and tired of it with games as well. Sun Wukong or Black Wukong, that game got a lot of heat from video game media, and it's selling like hotcakes.
I think
what's the one you played? Helldivers. Same as Helldivers. Got a lot of shit. And
yeah, I like your optimism, but I would agree and say that I think we've reached peak woke, but
we're still going to be at like 80% woke pretty much for forever. So it's not going to be as insufferable as it was in like peak in like 2017, 2018, but we're never going back to, the really amazing times. Not for a very long time. Not unless you get somebody like Elon to come in and literally just fire 85% of all the media people, all of like the video games journo people. You need to do such a huge overhaul because all of these people are true believers. Every one of them is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you might have an opportunity now for some some guys to squeeze their way through and make something really amazing, but the mainstream is still going to be dominated by these absolute psychos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not getting back in the kitchen is the issue.
They're not getting back.
That's the real issue, unfortunately.
No,
But yeah.
I truly think we're going to a better time. I truly think there's a better time coming.
It'll be better relatively.
2025 is going to be an amazing year.
Yeah. I want to be optimistic here.
Him.
I want to be optimistic here, but I'm not going to forgive them until they bring back my series here.
Which one?
This Sinran Kagura right here. This game, you want to talk about censorship?
Ooh, dude, I remember
this
that
one.
game.
This is the last game I pre-ordered, the last one, and that was everything roughly 2018, and I think Dynasty Warriors with ninja girls in it, ninja anime chicks, and funny stories too. I mean, there is a funny plot to it with a lot of fan service and all that jazz, but it's a very pleasant series, very fun to play. There's a lot of games in the series now, and this one in particular got censored in America. It was delayed for I think a couple of months because they had to remove a mode in it that was called intimacy mode, which is not nearly as bad as it actually sounds. You just you look at the girl, you talk to the girl, you can spray her with water or whatever, poke her, it's just you're interacting with a character, right? They took that out because they thought it was too suggestive, I believe. And I think they did censor some of their costumes in the American release. But get this, not for the awesome PS4 box version. This one they censored, but this one got censored. The Switch version did not. So if you want a good version of it, get the Switch version or the PC version, from what I understand. But I still won't forgive Sony for for having this one censored when the whole entire rest of the series, which I also have, is not. And it's great. I mean, this game was fun, but the fact that that it's censored kind of took away from it a little bit, especially when I pre-ordered it, I think 2 months, like I said beforehand, and then they delayed it for a good month and a half. But I haven't trusted a lot of pre-orders since then. Stellar Blade, I think, was the last one I looked forward to. I still haven't got it yet. I love the demo, but then I started seeing, they started, hiding some things away. They're like, we can't do too much now. And it's kind of frustrating,
Yeah. It's crazy to think that Nintendo is the less of the censored of of Sony. It seems
seriously.
That's total opposite of what it would have been in the past.
Yeah, seriously. Back in 2000, I remember Nintendo was the one that tried to be more family friendly, while Sony was the more edgy, dark stuff, that they had. And they were the more, as a kid, I remember they were the ones with the T and M rated games. And Nintendo, they had Pokemon and Zelda and Mega Man and, everything. And Mario, So the fact that it's kind of done this complete swap now is pretty wild to see. But I guess at least I still have my Pokemon. I have picked up a ROM hack of it very recently, and I can't let go of it. So if you need a good recommendation, Pokemon Unbound is one to go with too.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. You'd like that one, Jack. I think it's kind of mapped over Gen 3, or it's using Gen 3's engine, but I think it's got all the Pokemon in it, at least as far as I'm seeing so far, but I haven't played the whole thing through. But.
I just found out Liam Neeson keeps pissing himself.
What?
Did you guys know that?
The fuck?
I just found that out. Apparently, Liam Neeson always pisses himself when he goes on pictures with fans.
What would Kevin Bacon's name be if he was black?
I don't know.
Kevin Burnt.
Kevin Taken.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. A little bit of derailing. It's
Yeah.
a little bit of derailing. No, I posted something on Twitter and somebody responded with photos of Liam Neeson. I'm like, what? I never knew this. What the hell? And then I went down a rabbit hole, which I should not have gone through.
Yes.
Oh dear. Oh my.
Does anybody remember Battletoads and all the memeing
Yes.
around Battletoads around like 2010-ish?
Yeah.
2010-ish.
Was it that? It might have been
Oh,
earlier.
when you had to call GameStop and ask when the Battletoads was coming out. Where can I get my pre-order Battletoads?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh,
now,
Jesus.
now GameStop. I don't know if GameStop still isn't dead, but
Yeah,
it seems like it's
damn
going
near.
that way.
GameStop has now gotten to the point where they will grade your cards. They'll do a PSA.
No way.
Yeah, you can take
It's
it.
not
in
an
there.
official PSA grading though, like, right?
Well, they mail it in for you, is what they do.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I just came across a video of that about a week and a half ago, and yeah, they will now take your cards and they will send them off to PSA. They'll come back, you pay your fee, whatever, and they'll offer to buy them off you too. So you can sell
I'll
your
trust
cards.
those guys. Yeah.
Oh no,
They'll give you good deals. GameStop always known for that.
Dave,
Of course.
Dave, I think you brought up Splinter Cell earlier, but going back, to the early 2000s again, is I think it was G4, and they used to have Bob and Steve, the short show based on Splinter Cell. Oh, that stuff was hilarious.
Yeah, that's when they actually had people making decent content.
Yeah,
Well, I
or
guess,
what the hell was it? A Halo Red versus Blue
oh, yeah.
on all that stuff was hilarious.
Rooster Teeth. I think that's a company
Rooster Teeth,
that's gone super woke now too. It's like
yeah, and they also had Arby and Chief.
they went out of business, I think. Did they? Because they made that that one chick show, Red White. I don't know. I haven't followed them at all.
No, I haven't either.
Red versus Blue days, the old like Halo.
Oh yeah.
Halo days.
Yeah, the small Rafflecopter and it goes swah, swah, swah.
Oh, I do remember that one.
We used to do that in school. We would sit there and just copy and paste SOI, 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 and then we'd walk away from the computer and you just hear a computer going swah, 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 swah for like hours straight.
You guys are terrible. You guys are terrible.
Oh yeah, stripper Olivia Munn started there. Yeah, and then she ended up she was hot.
Yeah.
There were a lot of hot G4 girls.
Rooster Teeth shut down. I guess they got bought up by Warner Discovery, and they just decided to stop it. Wow, it's wild to think that they'd be owned by Warner Brothers Discovery, considering like where I know them from. They really really took off, I guess.
Wow.
What was your favorite game when you grew up?
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh my god.
Best shooter for sure. Yeah.
Good pick.
For me, I would, and this is a tough one, I would probably have to lean most strongly towards Borderlands 2. Because that's probably the one I sunk the most time into. But if we're talking like kid,
yeah, as a kid.
That's tough. I loved Metroid. Yoshi's Island was great.
Nice.
Luigi's Mansion. Loved Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, it's a great game too.
Yeah, Dead Rising was one of my favorites as well. Jack and Daxter series. Love Jack and Daxter.
I've heard a lot about it, but I never played it.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good.
I'd say, let me think. Phantasy Star 2 and 4 come to mind. Those are the 2 was the first one I ever played. That was my introduction to RPGs. Pokemon Gold is the first one that I broke 100 hours in. I know. Final Fantasy 8 was Final Fantasy 4 was my introduction to Final Fantasy, but 8 was the one I truly remembered. And then I replayed 4 and I appreciate it even more now. Let me think. Y'all got me thinking now. Shoot. Star Wars Battlefront 2, like Hawk said, that was one of my favorite shooters. Just everything you could do in that game was so fun. Gosh,
The thing I miss about games is that they actually released completed.
yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was meaning. You could do everything in that game without having to buy anything or loot
Yeah.
boxes or
Patch
any
day
nonsense.
one patches. Let's go.
Yeah, Halo
Dude,
2 was
yeah.
another one. I remember modding Halo 2. And the one thing that kind of sticks out in my mind was there's that one map that has the 2 conveyor belts in it, and it's like a long hallway. And we modded it so when you threw plasma grenades, instead of throwing the grenade, you threw a wraith shot. And then instead of throwing frag grenades, you threw rockets. So you just had people running up and down the hall, getting pelted with rockets. And, the one big, like, snowy map, if you crouched as an elite, your top would, like, go way up high in the map. And instead of having a warthog with a turret on the back, we modded it so it was what we called a wart sheet, where you had a banshee on the back of the warthog. Oh man, modding Halo 2 was awesome back in the day. And then as soon as you got like 8 hours from when you went online after you modded till you got banned until I think it was December 31st, 2,999.
Golly.
Oh, it was awesome.
Fun times, man.
Age of Empires 2, that's another one I still sink time into now. And Age of Mythology. That got me interested in mythology in general too.
Age of Empires was a great strategy game. Unfortunately, I didn't get a lot into it because I was playing Rome Total War. I loved that game. I loved Rome Total War, and like Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle Earth is one I played a lot. What's it called? Warcraft 2.
Oh yeah, Warcraft 2.
Warcraft
There we
2
go.
was awesome.
Yes.
Is it 2 or 3?
2 was my introduction to strategy games
Yeah.
before Age of Empires. So 2 was great. I mean, when you play it now, I have it on my laptop still, and
Nice.
when I play it now, I realize how limited the units were. There aren't very many to use, and so once you've built your army, you got that. But like, if they could make 2 again, just don't change anything, just add a couple more units in, something like that, it'd be really fun. Just
I was playing 3.
3,
Warcraft,
okay.
Warcraft 3. That's the
Yeah,
one I was where with Atlas and becoming the Lich King and stuff like
yeah,
that.
my brother
Yeah.
loved Warcraft 3. I liked Warcraft 2 a lot, but him and I both played a fuck ton of World of Warcraft. I can vividly remember being in 6th grade and sitting down at the computer desk. I had a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper and I had a couple cans of vegetable soup. I'm like, all right, let's play some World of Warcraft. And literally 2 days later, I was falling asleep in the chair. The speakers were turned up with Slipknot blasting, and I'm like nodding off. I'm like, all right, I think I should go to bed now.
You never get those days back. Fond memories.
My Tauren Shaman that's still on my brother's World of Warcraft account from 2005. 20 years.
Wow. Crazy.
Golly.
There, guys, are you all right with wrapping it up?
Let's wrap it up.
Sure.
All right. So if you want to go on, plug your stuff, Kyle, we'll just go around.
Cool. Yeah, acommoncrown.com to find all my band stuff, and Liberty and Health podcast. Don't really have any, or actually Jack's coming on this Friday. That's right. I may do a show on Wednesday and 5 till midnight. That's going to be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And that's pretty much all I got going on. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Also, some shows coming up for Common Crown if you're in the Ohio area, more of like the south-ish area, more east side. We're going to be playing in Akron, December 14th. Opening for Lynch Mob in February. And we're trying to get on the bill with Seven Dust here in Pittsburgh for March 11th. We're going to see how that kind of goes. And Cultist Black in February as well at the Raindrop Inn. So I think that's everything for me.
Nice.
All right, Jack.
New Substack released yesterday. Please go check it out. It's about women don't deserve respect. And you will know what I mean when you read it. You will know what I mean when I read it. So please go check it out. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave some criteria, feedback. I do appreciate it. And that's about it. We just passed 850 subscribers on Substack. So let's go.
Nice.
All righty, Red Hawk.
Yeah, so I got my own channel. I don't really stream on it too often anymore these days. Most all my stuff can be found on the Old Glory Club. I had a Substack come out on ours on Friday. Was in defense of trophy hunting because I saw a bunch of right wingers virtue signaling about that shit.
Oh, boy.
So I tore them to pieces on that. And then on Thursday is typically Pony Express Radio, but we've got Thursday off because it's Thanksgiving over here in the States.
Ah.
So go and enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have yourself a nice turkey. Watch some football. Enjoy your family.
Glazed ham too. You cannot forget the glazed ham.
Just
Oh.
All right, Mish.
Yep, I plugged my Substack in the
Oh,
chat.
boom. I'll bring that up.
A new Substack dropped today.
Oh, nice. Nice.
That's it from my side.
All righty. Gov, what do you got going on?
There we go. Okay, I got my stuff plugged in. I wasn't able to send it for a second there, but I've got my Twitter, my YouTube, and my Substack links or username right there. You can find me on any of those. I don't have much going on this week because it'll be a lot of work and then a lot of visiting family. So it's going to be a nice week off for the most part. But
Nice.
y'all can find me there.
Cool. Right on. And of course, B is just this channel right here. Scartham Podcast every Sunday. And then of course, sometimes I host Post Zero. So that's it. Please like, please subscribe. Of course, you check out these guys' stuff. And thank you all. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Peace. Later.
Bye. Nick.
Oh no, I didn't. I just